Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Pattsun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/relationship advice, where OP somewhat got his revenge on the affair partner. Let's begin. After years of denial, she finally said she was sorry she hurt me. So why am I more upset than ever? Posted by Reddit user OK Hornet.
Posted this elsewhere, but the comments were locked, looking for some perspective on what could be considered cheating or having an affair. I'm stuck on she didn't want this to happen, so I shouldn't be upset about anything, and it's really keeping me from processing. I'm having a hard time thinking of her as having no agency in this relationship for months. Any outside perspective would be helpful. Thank you. My wife made friends with her boss without telling me anything about it. He hit on her relentlessly and she wouldn't return any kind of overt flirting but was still nice to him. Watched TV shows he recommended, sent him a note of how she appreciated him spending time with her, gave him a pet name. She admitted to me that she liked having his attention. Eventually, it came to a head and she told him she had a crush on him but she was married and she couldn't act on anything. She told him about when she was pregnant and took a trip to a winery she wanted to, but she didn't drink any of the wine. She told him this situation was similar. She told me she didn't really have a crush on him and this was an attempt to let him down easy. He told her he had the same feelings about her and began pressuring her into a physical relationship. He would regularly spend time with her and demand hugs and kisses. She told me she would have a fond response to his pressure and let kisses and hugs happen. She attributed this to a learned pattern of fawning when bullied by her brother in her childhood. He continued to visit her and pressured her for more and more contact. He got her to regularly sit on his lap where he would touch her all over her body and put his fingers in her. She told me she played the part of his work girlfriend and continued to comply with his requests, out of fear of being further assaulted, fear of employment consequences in his power, and fear of being exposed. According to her, she never touched him aside from the hugging and kissing, which she claims were always just smooches on the lips, and he initiated all of the sexual contact. This lasted for about 10 months before she found out he was doing the same things with another co-worker. She let it slip to one of his peers that he was in relationships with subordinates. She told me right before she had to have meetings with her HR. During the course of their relationship, she shaved her privates and legs so she would be smooth when he touched her, would take his calls outside of work, waited after hours at work for him to visit her, met with him for a coffee date, exchanged text messages that she immediately deleted, told him she would meet him for sex if conditions were different. All of this, she said she did because he pressured her and she felt like she had to do as his girlfriend. I stood by her side, got her a lawyer, and fought her HR to keep her from employment consequences. Eventually, there was an investigation and they fired the boss and removed him from this field of work. TLDR, my wife says she was forced into a relationship with her boss and I'm having trouble excusing her behavior. Can I still be upset if she did things she didn't want to do? First update. From previous posts, I'm reading books to better understand infidelity, and she saw what I was reading. She flipped out and started abusive language and lashing out. We sat down so I could explain what's been going on with me. I told her calmly, I need to understand more about betrayal and affairs so I can decide how I was betrayed. Then I can grieve and deal with it, and hopefully move past it. She told me I'm reading the wrong books and that's not her story. I asked her point blank, was I not betrayed? She looks at me stone-faced, no. Okay, there's the D. Then she launched into, you are pathetic for reading that book without talking to me first. Pathetic for not moving heaven and earth to reassure me you are not leaving this family. Pathetic. Okay, there's the A. Then comes, you forever scarred me in this relationship with this. You insisting you were betrayed invalidates everything I did to survive what I went through. I think it's easier for you if you make yourself a victim and hate me. Fuck you asshole. Hey O. R to the V to the O. Second update. My wayward wife thinks I'm gay. I'm not. I'm a male attracted to females. She asked me this during her affair. This one haunted me. I realize now she was asking this question because I wasn't all over her like her affair partner. I'm also realizing that during the affair, she would routinely sabotage us by lashing out or denigrating me in the hours before bedtime. The day would be progressing nicely, and we would be close and giving each other affection and touch, but then sometime in the evening she would make fun of me or disrespect me somehow. Then she would sit back and see if I had the nuts to initiate intimacy. It was all a test. She wanted me to want her. She wanted me to want her enough to put aside shitty things she was doing to me, to want her more than the affair partner. Apparently I failed this test and the answer to her was that I must not have the capability to be attracted to her. Spent a lot of time feeling like a turd ball that sucked at intimacy when compared to her affair partner. Pretty shitty, but feeling better after thinking it all through. Realizing if they had the capacity to carry on a relationship outside your commitment regardless of the situation. They chose to not have empathy for you. They chose their comfort or happiness over their commitment to you. Third update. 1. An adult relationship. We have a losing deal or negative cycle of her attacking me and being disrespectful if she is not getting enough of my physical attention. I then shut down and avoid her, which only increases her disrespect and attacks. I've been working on sharing more and initiating physical affection more. And for her part, she has held back any disrespect or attacks. There have been a few rough spots, like recently she was upset I was about to have lunch with a group of coworkers that included a woman I worked closely with and was connected to on social media. My wife was nervous about this and said she needed me to make her feel wanted. I know she needs physical affection, but I honestly didn't know what she wanted to happen with this request. Tell her again I don't have feelings for this woman. More sex, making out, hugs. So I asked her, what can I do? She refused to answer. And here's a huge problem. She refuses to ask for what she needs. She's fixed on, if I have to ask for it, it feels inauthentic when you give it to me. Not a good stance for having a long-term adult relationship. Honestly, this is very painful for me as her affair partner was all over her and always super into her physically. Sorry, I'm not the guy trying to stick his dick into you at work. Makes me feel like I'll never measure up. As the lunch gets closer, I apparently don't do enough to reassure her and she starts getting more and more upset. Eventually, she gets really pissed and angrily says to me she is holding back all the attacks and disrespect, but I am not holding up my side of what we need. I'm sorry, I say, what can I do? She still refuses to tell me and just lets the anger and resentment build. Well, the lunch ends up getting cancelled and my wife and I have a conversation where she finally says that she would have liked me to make more time for her and kiss her passionately and initiate holding her more. I tell her that helps because I didn't know if she wanted more sex, more time together, or what. She then reiterates that if she has to ask for it, it feels cheap to receive it and asks me, what did you learn? Like you would ask a child after you teach them a lesson. It's like she can't help herself from showing me disrespect in some way. Here's the thing. Being respected in a relationship isn't a need or a want. It's a basic requirement. I'm not happy with show me lots of physical affection without me asking for it, or I'm going to disrespect and attack you as a relationship. Especially for someone who is unfaithful to me and is currently unrepentant. Which leads me to 2. Sincere empathy and an apology. She was in an abusive relationship with her boss and believes that all her choices and actions were made to survive the abuse. I get it. That was a really horrific situation, but even if under duress her actions betrayed me and our marriage, I'm afraid that framing everything up as her having to do things to survive is something she has created and clings to in order to spare herself mental anguish. I'm honestly scared to ask for an apology specifically. She has in the past apologized without really understanding the hurt she caused. She still maintains that her choices were not a betrayal. I get sorry you were involved in this apologies. If I tell her that I need an apology, I'm afraid she's just going to fake it again. I'm honestly at a point where I'm not sure she can take the steps with me needed to keep us together long term. She keeps needing me to reassure her that I choose her and that I want her, but she's choosing me without accepting the part of me that she hurt. Fourth update. Backstory. Wayward wife got into a relationship with her boss and he used his position to trap her and abuse her. He was allowed to resign and I got a lawyer for my wife and she was cleared of all wrongdoing, so was able to stay on at her place of work. I have been struggling to her to see how even if he was abusive and her boss, the things she did behind my back to carry on and keep the relationship a secret betrayed me and hurt me. She would say, I'm sorry you were hurt by what happened or sorry that you had to be mixed up in this, but never sorry for what she did to me. Through our brief time in therapy, we figured out we were in a bad cycle of her acting disrespectful toward me, so then I would not give her as much attention as she needs, which would make her lash out with more disrespect. She cut out the things I found disrespectful and I was able to give her more attention, but I was struggling giving romantic attention to someone who would hurt me like she did, who was unfaithful like she was, and not apologize or feel remorse. We finally talked before going on a family vacation and I laid it out for her. The attention I was giving her was not genuine. I am always haunted by how you could hurt me and not care. How you could do that behind my back and think that you didn't betray me. She was pissed for our entire vacation. It was a shitty time for me and the kids because she would mope about and pout and not participate in decisions. Finally, a couple days after we get back, she wakes up next to me, stares me down and finally says, I'm sorry I hurt you. I was so elated for a couple days. It felt like a major step. But now, I don't know why, but I feel worse than ever. It was such a pain just to get her to the point where she could apologize. And it feels like just the beginning. Also, something about her seeing the hurt she caused too makes it more real. Like, yeah, my feelings here matter and are justified. Now there's a whole ocean of feelings to deal with, and it took so much effort just to get here.
You are more upset now because you are realizing that her apologies means absolutely nothing. Look man, I've read through your post. Why are you attempting to reconcile?
You son of a f***ing I'm going to tear off your and shove them right up your and then on your with in the and your so then you'll have to sideways.
From your description, she is not at all willing to be with you in the first place, and she's just emotionally abusing you, but you seem to be taking her abuse. Why?
Why are you still here?
Are you some sort of masochist, OP? If she's so impressed with her affair partner's desire for her, why don't she just fuck off to him then? Oh, that's right. She needs a simp to pay for the bills and take care of the kids while she's out there sucking Chad's dick. Holy hell, grow a damn spine, you donut. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.